Hi, I'm Sheilaa Hite, world-class astrologer, tarot master, spellcaster, medium, and all-around magical being. And I'm here today to talk about the coming week in astrology. So we start off the week really intense. Now, I know that the week starts on Sunday and then there's Monday and Tuesday, but those may seem mild, but they're just going to get us ready for Wednesday. Now, Wednesday, we have a lot going on. That's November 10th. So we've got Mercury, the planet of communication, together with Mars, the planet of action. But what kind of together? Mercury conjunct, that means together, with Mars. So how we think and speak and communicate directly connected to the actions we take. So this is a really important thing to keep in mind on Wednesday, and Wednesday is Mercury's day. So it's going to be heightened communication issues, and not necessarily bad and not necessarily good, but definitely heightened. It's up to you as to whether they turn out good or bad. The next thing we have also on Mercury is, also on Wednesday, November 10th, is Mercury, again on its own day, square Saturn. That means it's making an abrasive, sharp, frictional aspect to Saturn. So this does not look like cooperation. That's because initially this isn't cooperation. However, there are ways to make it cooperation, which I'll talk about soon. Then we have Mars, the planet of how we take action, how we get things done. Mars is square Saturn. So again, how do we make that a blend as opposed to a confrontational aspect? So this is a really important time in the year. We're just about the end of the year. We're adding things up. We're seeing what worked and what didn't. We're looking forward to what can be. And one of the reasons we're going through all of this at this time is so that we are honest with ourselves, that we hold ourselves accountable, and that we take the responsibility of being honest and truthful in the ways we know we need to be. And with Mercury and Saturn and Mars and Saturn, that's exactly what it is, because Saturn rules many things, including responsibility, society. Saturn also rules maturity and wisdom. So let's deal with what the universe wants us to be responsible, wise, mature. And Saturn also deals with forms and structure. So this particular Saturn period for us is asking for structure and asking us to be responsible to that structure. So I've written some things down because it's really important that you don't forget what's going on here. Wednesday, Mercury conjunct Mars. Because Mercury is conjunct Mars, it sharpens your tongue. So be careful what you say. Instead of saying what you want to say, you're better off listening, because a lot of what's going on is egos are involved. I'm right, you're wrong, gets involved. Let's listen. It's a good time to listen because it's a good time to hear what's being said. Even though most of us listen, very few of us really hear what's going on. So it's an excellent time this Wednesday on Mercury's day to listen. The listening isn't just the physical. The listening is the intuitive. So listen intuitively and physically. What you hear can give you that much needed information that will help you to expand your view of life and help to clear up what is really causing a lot of friction. It'll help you get to resolution. This is super important. So as I said before, Mercury and Mars and Saturn all hanging out with each other, not necessarily bad and not necessarily good. These are energies that say, well, what are you going to do with us? The next intense one on Wednesday is Mercury square Saturn. Wow. Communication, abrasive aspect to society, to structure, to responsibility, to wisdom, to maturity. So Mercury brings you eye to eye with a necessary reality check. Eye to eye. This is a great time to set boundaries without raising your voice, without stomping your foot, without pounding your hand on the table. Mercury square Saturn, know what you have to say, know who you are, know what your position is, and listen and find out what other people are up to as well. Saturn tells you that you have the right and the responsibility to take care of what needs to be taken care of in the appropriate manner, with full authority, with full power, without taking power or authority or attempting to from anyone or anything else. So if you feel frustrated or impatient, that definitely comes anytime you mix Mercury. I've got an idea, and as soon as we get an idea, we're already there with it. It exists. Mercury with Saturn is not so fast. It takes some time to develop and build on this great idea you have. So if you feel frustrated or impatient, please remember to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. In this case, patience really is a virtue. And the third thing on Wednesday, November 10th, Mars, the planet of how we take action, how we get things done, is square Saturn. Again, maturity, wisdom, not so fast. Mars is really fast and Saturn is hold it, not so fast. Be careful and deliberate in your actions. Very important. When you have Mars square Saturn, if you are careful and deliberate in your actions, you don't run into anything and things are not likely to run into you. So if you feel the need to do something, anything, get physical. Go for a walk. Scrub the floor. Paint the house. Get physical. Use the energy in that way. Doing so will provide a major opportunity for you to heal lifetimes of soul wounds. Flying off the handle with Mars square Saturn is not productive and will only add to the lifetime of soul wounds. But patience, using your energy differently, listening differently, will bring you to a completely new place that gives you power, that rewards your maturity, and gives you the ability to heal all of these wounds, these triggers that have you acting out in all of the ways that you personally do act out and that don't help you. Now then, once we make it through Wednesday, we get to Friday. Friday, we have the sun, the life force. The sun is the life force. It's the ego. It's the heart. It's creativity. We have the sun, and we have a trine. That's a harmonious, beneficial aspect. Trine. The planet Neptune. Neptune rules your spirit. Neptune rules your soul. It rules creativity as well. The sun rules creativity. Neptune is creative. This Neptune also rules illusion, which is great for movies. It's also great for disillusionment as well, because it rules the other side of the coin too. Neptune rules all of those things that make our lives, in a way, interesting. It rules imagination. It's great. So with the Sun trine Neptune, this aspect is going to help us see beyond what we can see physically in front of ourselves. This aspect helps us connect to divine source. This is an extremely intuitive time and an extremely creative time. This is a great time for you to say, you know, I think I'm going to take a chance and work on this idea I had or this vision I had. This is, with Sun trine Neptune, the time of visionaries. So if you've got a great idea and it doesn't have what we call in Hollywood, what would be called legs, don't worry about it. It's got heart, because the sun rules the heart. It's got heart and it's got soul, because Neptune rules the soul. And you can build the legs you need underneath it. Moving forward, trusting that you're being given information from your connection to the divine, that's the way to deal with things on Friday. Then on Saturday, we've got a pretty pretty big, pretty intense energy, which again can be instructive and constructive if we use it well. Saturday, November 13th, the planet Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet of how we think, how we gather and process information, writing, books. Mercury is in opposition to the planet Uranus. Uranus is genius. Uranus is weird, out there. Uranus is unusual. Uranus is that sudden lightning bolt of divine insight. Uranus is the visionary, the uber visionary. Uranus is also, and this is something that I like to keep in mind about Uranus, Uranus rules friendships and social organizations. So with Mercury, opposition Uranus, this is not the time to come in and say, it's time for us to create a whole new structure with our organization, whether it's 2 friends or 200 friends. This is a time to be aware, to observe, and again, to listen and hear. So you're going to have a lot of insights today, sudden insights, because that's what Uranus is. It's sudden and it's filled with insights. Be sure to keep a pen and a notebook handy to write down these wild ideas that come up for you, to write down these visions that you see. Now, these ideas and these visions are not necessarily the ones that other people will agree that you are right to have. What you see is a vision for something that just doesn't exist. But that's what makes it interesting, and that's what makes it good. Because if you really look at it, these ideas, especially the ones that are out there, those are the ones you need to pay attention to and begin to develop. Because our modern conveniences were at one time somebody's imagination or somebody's reason to be laughed at. However, without the person persevering or the people persevering, we wouldn't be able to communicate the way we're communicating now. Cell phones, the internet, flying from place to place, driving from place to place. These are all because somebody had a vision and took a chance. So Sunday, or Saturday rather, November 13th, is a great day. Whatever comes up, jot it down. You have no idea how things are going to develop. It's better to jot it down than to begin acting on it, because the time to act on these things that come up on Saturday, not quite yet. But what you're doing is you're keeping a record of, wow, I had an idea for this, or I see things this way, or maybe I could do it like that. That's what's going to make all the difference. So we've got a really interesting, intense week ahead of us. And I feel that if we, especially on Wednesday, which is Mercury's day, pay attention to Mercury, Mars, and Saturn, we're going to have a lot of great momentum to take us through the rest of the week and come out with a notebook filled with ideas that are possible success or money makers. So having said that, I'm going to say goodnight to you for now, and I'll see you next week.